Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here. Before we get to the video really quickly, just wanted to give you a quick life update. As you're watching this right now, the odds are I am in the delivery room welcoming my firstborn child into the world. So I want to apologize if I miss any days. I'm going to try not to. I've been trying to sneak to the office for like an hour if I have to every day. Basically, my poor girlfriend has been there waiting to go into labor for almost 3 days now. So it's been a long time. I'm not getting much sleep in the hospital, but like I said, because she's not actively in labor right now, I have some free time to kind of escape and get a little work done as well. So guys, hopefully by the time you're watching this, I have already posted on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram pictures of baby Ash. Nothing will be changing on the YouTube side. This is my life passion as well, and it's now my full-time job. But I just wanted to kind of update you guys. And hey, if you do have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and if you're curious, go ahead and check that out. Just wanted to thank you all so much. Obviously, I'm tired and I'm emotional, but I consider you guys my friends. As cheesy and corny as that may be, but I wanted to share news with you guys because hey, I want to. If I met you in real life, I want to tell you about it. So I'm telling you now. So guys, thank you so much and enjoy this video with Corrosive Logic. By the way, best accent in the entire world. Love you guys. Enjoy. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale with a very special guest. It's none other than Corrosive Logic. I've had him on the channel before, but never on voice. I'm excited, man. How you doing? You're here.
How are you doing, Ash? I'm delighted to be here.
I am delighted to have you on, and I'm so jealous of your accent. Where are you from, man?
I'm currently living in Ireland. I suppose I'm from Ireland, although I might not, ethnically be Irish, but yeah, let's just say I'm Irish.
Okay, cool, man. Well, I'm of Irish heritage, so maybe somewhere down the line, somehow, we have a little bit of the same blood. But today, you are also a content creator, a YouTuber. I highly recommend you guys check out his YouTube channel after this video. Not right now. Don't leave us. And subscribe for sure. And you also write a lot of guides on Reddit for not just deck guides, but you give really good strategy guides. I'll post a couple of those in the description for you guys to check out, as well as supplemental material from Mr. Logic here. What got you into writing those really great in-depth guides, Corrosive?
I suppose if I didn't do YouTube, I probably wouldn't write so many guides. I do enjoy writing the guides because, when you play the game, you do think about a lot of things in the game that aren't explained very well sometimes, and you really just gotta write those long essays to really put what you're thinking onto paper so that people can understand. Like, you can just make a video as well and talk about it, but it's just different when you write a guide. It's just easier to describe things in more detail, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And you do a really good job of kind of getting down to the details. So again, I would highly recommend people check those out. So we're here today to talk about a beatdown deck like we've literally never seen before. This is a crazy deck, and you've been rattling off 12 win grand challenges with it, and against some really good players, against St. Bellican, against Johnny. We're gonna do something a little bit different. I mean, you are a YouTuber, you do play-by-play and analysis as your specialty. So what I want to do is, after this replay, after we get to know you a little bit and kind of set up the deck, I'm just gonna hand the reins to you, and you're gonna go ahead and walk us through where your mind was at, excuse me, during these during these replays, I should say. So before we get to that, tell us a little bit about this deck. It is a heavy deck. We have Mega Knight and Golem in the same deck. Tell us how the heck we are playing this thing, and specifically the role of the Mega Knight in it.
As with most beatdown, you mostly for the first 2 minutes you want to pump up and basically gain that elixir lead for you to take your opponent's crown towers down. Usually I won't play the Mega Knight supporting the Golem unless I know that my other cards are just going to die. For example, if I'm playing against some sort of like swarmy type of decks, for example log bait, then Mega Knight is a very good card to use to support the Golem, because the Mega Knight will just it will completely shred through cards like Goblin Gang and the Knight. So that's when I will use the Mega Knight, and of course defensively as well.
Okay, so give me your ideal push with this deck. Talk about, are you ever placing the Mega Knight as a support card behind the Golem? Is that like a double elixir move? Talk about maybe single elixir versus double elixir and how that differs of your ideal push. We can see actually right now in the replay that I'm showing, you have a monster push, or you had a monster push with like Inferno Dragon and Mega Knight behind the Golem. So to talk a little bit about the differences.
So in single elixir time, you probably won't have the elixir to play the Mega Knight. You're mostly going to be using your other support units like the Bandit and the Electro Wizard. If you have that elixir lead, it's actually pretty easy to completely dominate any deck you're playing besides the P.E.K.K.A. Like even against Inferno Tower or Inferno Dragon, you can usually overwhelm those type of decks, especially with the Zap spell buying you even more time. But P.E.K.K.A. is probably the main issue against this deck, although you can probably see that I'm winning against a P.E.K.K.A. But P.E.K.K.A. really, what you want to try and do with the P.E.K.K.A. is either try and get them to use their P.E.K.K.A. early and then take the P.E.K.K.A. out when it's coming down to your side of the arena, because that way you can use the Inferno Dragon and not worry about it getting reset by the Electro Wizard. If they refuse to play their P.E.K.K.A. at all, for example, if you're playing a Hog P.E.K.K.A. deck, they'll just use their Hog on offense, and they don't need to use their P.E.K.K.A. on offense. If you're playing something like that, then you're just going to have to try and just use that Golem and try and build a push-up, and then you're going to have to use that Inferno Dragon to counter the P.E.K.K.A. The only issue I see with that is they use their Electro Wizard to reset your Inferno Dragon, and in that case, you just have to try and do your best to snipe the Electro Wizard using your Bandit or maybe the Mega Knight.
Okay, yeah, so that's definitely, I mean, this deck seems like it would dominate most types of decks, but that was exactly the question that I was going to ask you about is P.E.K.K.A. E-Wiz combo. But we'll actually, I think you go up against a P.E.K.K.A. E-Wiz combo, and what better replay to start with than one of the most challenging matchups? So let me see. Let's do the replay against Saint Belican, because Saint Belican is one of the best players in the world as well, and he was playing a P.E.K.K.A. deck. So let me go ahead and pause at the beginning here, and let me know when you're with me, and kind of just take us through your mindset throughout this match, man.
Okay, I can play now.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
So I do have the pump in my starting hand, and if I ever do have the pump, I immediately will play it just above my King Tower at the very start of the game, pretty much 100% no matter what. So he does decide to poison, and that's perfectly fine. Instead of, cycling all the way to another pump, I have to cycle like 4 cards. I'm just going to go ahead and play a Golem. And whether or not I'll commit to this Golem depends on what he uses to counter. And like, for example, if he used something like an Inferno Tower, I know that I'm probably not going to be able to do a lot of damage. So I'll let my Golem go. But in this case, he used the Mega Knight, and I know I can take the Mega Knight out using my Inferno Dragon. So he does use the Electro Wizard there, and that's okay. I have to focus on keeping my Electro Wizard alive first, and then after I can snipe his Electro Wizard using my Bandit.
Excellent. So this starts out really good for you here. Interesting that he's playing a Cannon Cart deck as well.
Yeah, I suppose St. Belican probably didn't have the best cycle. His P.E.K.K.A. was, yes, I think, his second last card, so that worked really well for me, and I took his Crown Tower pretty handily in the first 2 minutes.
If someone was to play if he was to play a P.E.K.K.A. in the back, if he had P.E.K.K.A. in cycle in the beginning there, what would you have done at that point? Is there ever a time that you would wait, and then just push hard in the other lane with like a Bandit something or other, or a Mega Knight or something like that? Like, how often do you kind of juke somebody out if they drop a P.E.K.K.A. against your Golem and go opposite lane?
In that case, I will only juke my opponent, I suppose, with the Mega Knight and other support units in the opposite lane. But the only time I will do that is pretty much as a last resort. My first option is to kill the P.E.K.K.A. with the Inferno Dragon if I can. Especially, I suppose, towards the end of the game when I have nothing left that I can do to stop his P.E.K.K.A. If his P.E.K.K.A. really is countering my Golem every single time, then that's the only time I will try and rush the other lane with a Mega Knight push.
this is a really heavy legendary deck, obviously. It'd be pretty much impossible to, excuse me, to sub out all 4 legendaries in this deck. But if people want to play this deck on ladder, and maybe they have all the legendaries at like level 1 or whatever, what would you recommend subbing out, if anything? Or would you just pretend you just, like, everybody has legendaries at level 1 and 2 or something like that? Would you sub out, or would you just roll with the cards in the deck?
Definitely Inferno Dragon. You need to keep Inferno Dragon for big tanks. You probably need to keep the Electro Wizard as well to reset Inferno Towers and Inferno Dragons, but Mega Knight can probably be replaced by something cheaper. For example, like Lumberjack is commonly used in beatdown decks. And Bandit, I don't know. Bandit's just a very unique card that can't really be replaced, in my opinion.
Okay, that's fair. Sometimes there's just not always a good substitution for legendaries in some decks. So you know what, that match was very well played on your part, but obviously that rotation really screwed over Saint Belican in the beginning there. Let's watch another replay against a P.E.K.K.A deck to see how you handle it. Let's watch the one against Neo Mayu.
Okay.
And let me know when you're there at the beginning.
I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
So I do have the pump again, and I will just pump up. If I happen to not have the pump as my starting hand, I will either try and cycle the bats and the bandit to a pump or to a golem in my starting hand. And yeah, I pretty much will always have either the golem, pump, or bandit, or the bats in my starting hand. It's very unlikely that I don't have any of those 4 cards. If I have any of those 4 cards, they're probably the only cards that I will play as an opening play. Generally, you don't want to play the golem at the very, very start. That's not a very good opening play because you can just get punished in the other lane. But if you really don't have the pump and you don't have any cycle cards, then it's okay. I think it's okay to play the golem at the back, provided you get value from your golem placement. So what I mean by this is, for example, you're playing someone and you don't have the pump in your hand in your starting hand, but your opponent plays a knight at the back. Then I think it's perfectly okay to play the golem at the back on the same side as the knight, because you're pretty much getting value from his knight, because his knight is going to cross the bridge, maybe hit your golem once or twice, and then it's going to die. It's going to get no value. So that's, in my opinion, that's pretty much 3 elixir positive elixir trade just from playing the golem at the back there.
Okay, I do have 2 questions about when to play your golem in opposite lane and when to go towards your opponent, because this is something that I always forget what the right answer is, to be honest with you. So if the opponent drops a golem right before you were going to drop a golem, right? So they make the first golem drop. Do you go same lane golem so you can fight on your side, or do you go opposite lane golem?
With this golem deck, I definitely want to stick to the same lane as any tank, because my Inferno Dragon can completely destroy his tank. Like, all I need to do is play my golem and it will tank for any of his support units, and my Inferno Dragon is going to be safe to take out his tank, because lightning can't even take out the Inferno Dragon. If you're unlucky enough to play someone with rocket, then that's just very unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay, what about Lava Hound? Because that's my second question. They drop a Lava Hound in the lane that you were going to drop your golem. Do you go same lane as Lava Hound? Same exact deal?
Yeah, same thing, because you still have the Inferno Dragon to take out the Lava Hound.
What about in a deck where you don't have Inferno Dragon, if it's just a golem beatdown deck? What do you advise in those situations?
From what I know of other beatdown player pros that I've asked before that same question, they do go the same lane as the Lava Hound, because the golem is actually a heavier tank than the Lava Hound. It has more health points. So at the end of the day, the heavier tank does win these matchups.
And good match there again, and that was against a player for the 12th win in the Grand Challenge there, and it was against a player who had a lot of counters to your deck as well. I feel like log bait is absolutely everywhere. Let's run through a log bait replay against Santana.
Okay.
And then after this, I want to go ahead and show a loss of yours, and maybe we can talk about what you could have done differently if you don't mind.
Okay.
Let's press play in 3, 2, 1, go. So while we're this is in okay, you have pump again, which is great in your starting hand. Let's talk a little bit more about the Mega Knight, right? So do you ever play the Mega Knight in back of your King Tower? I've been advising people not to do that. Do you agree with that? Or because I always like to get that value out of him when he enters the arena. How do you feel about that?
I pretty much never play the Mega Knight at the very back because your opponent can actually get, even though the Mega Knight is quote-unquote OP, it can still be countered fairly easily by P.E.K.K.A, Inferno Tower, Inferno Dragon, so you don't want to lose that value.
Yeah, that was exactly my thinking here. So while we go into this match, could you also touch a little bit upon the common mistakes that someone could use with this deck and how to avoid them?
Okay. So one mistake that I would say is definitely present with a lot of players that do play beatdown is they overcommit on defense. Typically, when you play against beatdown, when they play the golem, you want to rush the opposite lane, and that's what happens here in this game against Logbait. When I played my golem down, he rushes my opposite lane using the goblin barrel. What a lot of players end up doing is they try and defend that punish too badly. Like, you want to defend that punish as cheaply as you can and use more of your elixir on the golem to support the golem push, because, for example, if you use all your elixir defending that goblin barrel, your opponent's just going to use the Inferno Tower and completely counter your golem. So in the long run, you're actually losing value by defending that punish.
That's really, really solid advice, Corrosive. I feel the same way. It wasn't two things that I learned to do when playing beatdown from a previous pro who was on the channel was, one, don't be afraid to play the actual golem, right? I think that some people have a tendency to, oh, golem is a double elixir card only, but don't be afraid to actually play him, even if it means taking a little bit of damage. And number two, obviously, is being able to take damage. Now, to that point, what if you know you're going to lose a tower? Like, this is actually a great match as this. Like, both of your towers are down pretty low, one especially low. Where's your mindset defensively here? You let that goblin gang totally go, I see. So at this point, are you ready to? Are you going for the 3 crown at this point?
I thought letting the goblin gang was okay because I wanted to spread the damage between my 2 crown towers, and it worked out okay. Both of my crown towers are now down to rocket range, unfortunately. Against Logbait, you don't want your crown towers to go to rocket range. You want it just above it. But I suppose in this matchup, he was countering my golem really well with the Inferno Tower, sorry. But his Inferno Tower can't counter both my Mega Knight and golem, and as you can see, my Mega Knight has now just took down his crown tower because he wasn't able to defend it. He didn't have the Inferno Tower because I killed it with my golem. So yeah, that's where my Mega Knight comes in this matchup.
Wow, this is so crazy right now. I can't believe that you made this comeback, man. Did you just have the Bandit glitch there too? Did you see that?
Oh yeah, when it just
I love that. Yeah, she just keeps charging against the King Tower every time. That's crazy, man. Good match, man. That was really, in my head, I'm like, dude, is this a loss? Are we showing a loss here? Because I thought he had it there. Both towers in rocket range, but you prevailed. All right, so Johnny is one of the best players in the entire game. He's been on the channel before. You can see you put that in the description there. Let's go ahead and watch this replay. Maybe you can tell us where you might have went wrong on the loss on the 12th match of a grand challenge.
Okay.
So I'll press watch, and then we'll pause at the beginning and let me know when you're with me.
I do have the pump again, so I probably will just start off with the pump.
Okay, I just pressed play, so I'm at like 255.
Okay.
So on the pump, you don't feel like it's advantageous to kind of make the pump your first play after the opponent plays a card, or you just don't mind? Obviously, you don't mind doing it right away.
I definitely don't mind because, like, you can try and cycle other cards at the back, but I think sometimes you end up just wasting elixir. Like, for example, if you cycle bats at the very back, that could end up being a wasted 2 elixir.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good point. I feel like you can go either way sometimes, because sometimes you place the pump there and they hit you with like a hog lightning and get value out of it. But other times, you're right. You totally just waste troops in the back for no reason at all to cycle to the pump. Or I mean, to wait, I should say.
So
All right.
I did get a bit of an elixir lead against Johnny, but he defended really well. Like if you're playing against P.E.K.K.A with this deck, and P.E.K.K.A is a hard counter, so if they play P.E.K.K.A completely 100% perfectly, you are going to lose because it is a hard counter. I tried my best there to take out the P.E.K.K.A with the Inferno Dragon, but he hit his Electro Wizard really well, and I just couldn't snipe his Electro Wizard, and he reset my Inferno Dragon, and then ended up being able to take down my Crown Tower here.
I like that you just said that you just said that if they play P.E.K.K.A really well, you're just going to lose, because not many people admit that. Some people come on and they're just like, this deck doesn't lose to anything. But the truth of the matter is that every deck has a counter,
Yeah.
you know? But one thing I was thinking about is that even though he has P.E.K.K.A in this deck, right? If you played it perfectly, do you think that, is there any way to use the Mega Knight to kind of bait out the P.E.K.K.A?
Yeah.
In a way, or vice versa, like, or use the Golem to bait out the P.E.K.K.A and then hit the other lane really hard? Is that like your only chance?
Right now, I tried to
Oh,
rush.
you tried that. Okay.
I tried to rush the other lane with the Mega Knight because his P.E.K.K.A was just shredding me, but he done a really nice job of bringing my Mega Knight over to his P.E.K.K.A. So yeah, that was really well played by Johnny.
Johnny just was like, yeah, Ash, he tried that. There you go, dude. Oh man. Yeah, that was a really nice kite job there by Johnny with the ice golem. So that added insult to injury there. So
I think the double P.E.K.K.A also added more.
Oh man, every time I say something, it gets worse for you.
Against
Okay.
against like minor P.E.K.K.A or hog P.E.K.K.A, you want to try and use your Mega Knight on the minor or the hog, because that way they'll probably be forced to use their P.E.K.K.A to counter your Mega Knight when it crosses the bridge, and that way you can now kill the P.E.K.K.A with your Inferno Dragon and then play the Golem safely. So that would be like an ideal scenario, but it's tough to replicate. I mean,
Yeah, easier said than done, right?
yeah.
You know, geez, looking at that match, man, I don't think there's a lot you could have done. I mean, in retrospect, do you think there's anything that you could have done to come out with a squeak out a victory there, or at least bring a draw? I mean, we can't
Like
really draw.
if
We're in a
I knew
6-minute match.
if I knew he was playing the P.E.K.K.A at the very start, I wouldn't have played my Golem. But that's the thing, I didn't know he was playing P.E.K.K.A. I played my Golem, and that did cost me the game.
Yeah, man, it's tough. It can be tough against those P.E.K.K.A decks, but certainly, you know, if you knew you were going to go against P.E.K.K.A decks with this deck, would you make any adjustments to the deck? Maybe like add in minions or something, or a minion horde? I don't know, like, or is there just nothing that can be done?
If I'm playing against P.E.K.K.A, I'll just change my playstyle slightly. For example, if I'm playing against P.E.K.K.A beatdown, I definitely know that they have to use their P.E.K.K.A offensively, and I'll just wait for them to do that, and then kill their P.E.K.K.A and counter push with a Golem. But if I'm playing against P.E.K.K.A minor or P.E.K.K.A hog, then they probably don't have to use their P.E.K.K.A offensively, and in that case, it's a bit of an issue. You want to use your Mega Knight against their hog or their minor, just like I said before, and then hopefully bait out their P.E.K.K.A.
Okay, yeah, it's all about baiting out that P.E.K.K.A there. But this is a really good 3-crown deck. We just saw you 3-crown again here in the background against that really annoying Mega Knight bait deck. I feel like this deck does really good against that deck. Do you agree?
This deck does really good against anything that doesn't have the P.E.K.K.A.
All right, sounds good, man. Well, I really appreciated you reviewing the deck, and I appreciated you sharing a loss. I think that benefits the viewers as well. What's coming up on your YouTube channel? I saw that you just released a top 5 Mega Knight deck video, so that should be interesting for folks to check out. What else are you working on, Corrosive?
I might be finally doing some collabs with some smaller YouTubers, so that'll be fun.
That's awesome, man. I think that's the best thing to see in this community is more collaboration such as this. So just wanted to we'll look forward to that certainly, and just wanted to thank you for coming on, man. I appreciated it.
No problem.
All right, guys, that's going to do it. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to Corrosive Logic. That link will be in the description. Make sure you told him that you came from here, guys. Huge shout out to my YouTube partner, Bren Chong. Check out his information in the description as well. And with that is going to wrap it up for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.